All right, we got Garrett Alberson up here, PRI. How many years you been coming to PRI now?
Shoot, probably 11 years, I'd say.
Oh, wow. This year 29 for
Really?
me. Yeah, it's been a minute. Starting Columbus, Ohio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But Garrett, you run Lucas Oil. How many? You ran Lucas Oil the last 3 years?
I think this next year will be my fifth year.
Fifth year? Where'd you end up this year?
Sixth in points.
Sixth in points.
Yep.
You got the banquet tonight?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So where did you start? Like, how'd you get into this?
Well, I had family that raced. I had a family on my mom's side that some raced motorcycles, some raced like circle track pavement, and my dad got to married my mom and he was always kind of into car racing back in New Mexico, and so it just kind of like just always in the family, I suppose.
Nice. Now, when you started racing, were they still in racing at all?
Yeah. So I think the first time I drove, I was like 10. I drove an Enduro.
Oh, nice. What kind of car was it?
It was like a 76 Camaro or something like
Nice.
that. Yeah, it was awesome. But my dad was racing street stocks, or well, I think by then super stocks still. And it was just like, yeah, that's awesome. That's what I want to do.
So what is home? What is your city?
Well, right now we actually live in Kelowna, Illinois.
Okay.
That's where the Roberts Motorsports shop's at. Is in
Okay.
Kelowna, real close to the Quad Cities area.
Do you get home at all?
Not back to New Mexico very much.
Okay.
We get back to the shop, a fair amount, but to actual Las Cruces where I grew up, it was about once a year when we go to the Wild West Shootout, but now that they moved it, it might be even longer.
Yeah,
so.
a little longer.
Yeah.
So what was your first car? Like, when did you, besides like after the Enduro, what was your first full-time, maybe not full-time, but full season
racing? Yeah. So there in Las Cruces, they had a series. It was called the Super Trucks, and it was like a spec frame super stock truck basically that raced at the oval track there, and it was perfect place to start because they were pretty quick. Like they were as quick or quicker than the super stocks, quicker than the street stocks. So like you get a little dose of speed, and they're fairly light. They're probably actually a pretty good transition to the late model, just like the power to tire ratio.
Yeah.
I would think. And so and it was kind of a small class at the time. I think when I started, there was only like 12 to 15 trucks on a regular night. And by a chance, it just happened to be a growth period when I got in there. By the time I got out of the trucks, there was like sometimes 30 trucks.
Oh, wow.
A night. So it was a good place to learn. It got competitive really quick, and we learned it was a good, competitive, affordable way to do it, which is we needed affordable because we were pretty low buck, starting.
So did you go, because I know you ended up in Shreveport,
Yep.
Louisiana. Did you go straight from New Mexico to Shreveport?
Yeah, I started into the late model deal through a guy that I knew raced in the truck series. A guy that in that truck class had a late model he'd raced back in the 90s.
Okay.
And this car that he'd raced back in the 90s has been sitting in the weeds there in New Mexico at his shop for like 10, 15 years. And he had just bought the truck that I was driving for somebody else. I was kind of out of a ride, and I didn't really have a lot going on. And he called me up, was like, "Hey, I've got this late model sitting out in the dirt. You want to come?"
What was it?
It was a Bullet chassis.
Man, you're the second interview today started with a Bullet.
Really?
Who was it? Cody Overton. He started with a 99 Bullet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think this one was an 88.
88.
And we put it together
Nice.
in 2010 and went and raced it.
God. Man, back then, though, that Bullet, I remember the Bullet was, everyone had a Bullet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like the Longhorn today or the Rocket of,
yeah, exactly.
Before. So from then, how long did you drive for that guy?
So I drove for Dave Dietz, was his name. I drove for him for probably a good 4 years or so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Did you run on you have a national out, like a regional series out there? You're just going to run at some local tracks?
We run mostly what we could. At that time, early 2010s, the late model racing in Arizona was still pretty decent. And so Tucson, the Arizona Speedway, which is closed now, Casa Grande a little bit, which is Central Arizona Raceway, Canyon Speedway, was still running. We run all those, and then there was a smaller regional series called the CDM Late Model Series.
Okay.
And they ran a little bit in Arizona, a little bit in New Mexico, a little bit in Kansas, and we did that. And then we started kind of dipping our feet into the Midwest a little bit here and there. Like we go I-80 every now and then. And
oh, wow.
Like Muskogee in Oklahoma, we started traveling out a little bit.
So did you do the big Muskogee or the small Muskogee?
The big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've raced at the small one. I heard about the big one.
Yeah, Thunderbird's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I heard it was big. So how did you get over to Shreveport?
Through Dave, we had Masters builts at the time.
Okay.
And the closest guy to us that did Masters built stuff was Stuckey when he had Masters built by Stuckey. And we were like, we need to get involved with him because this guy's smart. And so, we got the Masters builts by Stuckey going and did some dealings with him. And Dave actually had the idea the December of like 13 or something. He was like, we should just have you go over there and just spend like a week or two with them and just try to learn, what they're building. And by chance, they were actually in the process of building the first Black Diamond cars.
Okay, I remember
right
those
then.
days.
When Lanigan was there, and they were putting the first couple cars together. And I think I worked on car 3 when I showed up there.
Oh, wow.
And it was like Tony Jackson Jr.'s or something like that.
I'm sure it was.
So
probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. So it was a cool time to start there. It was like really big news. This is all happening right here, and I just happened to be in the middle of it, and it was like the perfect timing. It was really cool.
Cool. Now, so you were just planning on going there for a week or so?
Yep.
How long did that?
I ended up being there for about a month, and just kind of became an employee almost. And then went back to run the Wild West Shootout, and that was the first time Ronnie actually got to see me race, really, was at the Wild West Shootout there, since we kind of knew each other by then. And he was like, I tell you what, if you come out here to Shreveport and work for me, we'll find you a ride out here. And so that's kind of how it started.
Oh, wow.
I moved, I think by March I was moved over there and started working for him full time, and then ended up getting a ride with a Childress racing team there out of Bossier City, I think.
Yep.
Or so like right there close to town, and did a lot of regional stuff in the area. Like anytime you'd have a race like Magnolia or Wynot or any of those, we'd go to those races and stuff. Okay.
So when did because was it Earl Pearson that ended up driving for him?
Yeah, so it was like 2017. I was still racing for Raymond at the Childress team, and he decided to get out of it like right at the end of the 17th season, just like sold everything in one shot. And so for the next year, I didn't have anything to do. I was kind of trying to find a ride. There wasn't a lot happening right there in that town. And by chance, Ronnie was building this house car team with Earl.
Yep.
And so I was like, what better way to actually learn what it takes to be at that level that I want to be at? Because I was okay. Like I could run, like a 13th if I'd go to Lucas race. I could make a race, maybe run 15th, 13th, something like that. But I could never break into that next level there. So I was like, if I just maybe I ride with Earl and see what it takes, and so that was a big deal.
And at that time, you're now with Ken Roberts. Was he also a customer of Ronnie's at that time?
Yeah, he was. That's how I met him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I met him. We built a couple cars for him, probably 2015, 2016. And he was actually really good friends with the main welder there at Black Diamond, and Mike Humphrey, and it was his main kind of source for data and info to go racing with.
Yep.
And Mike actually got killed by a drunk driver in 2017.
Oh, wow.
Which was a wild deal. And then Ken was kind of looking for somebody to be his like go-to guy for info, and I was on the touring team with Earl. And so we kind of got connected like that and started talking back and forth. He was racing with Jeremiah Hurst, IMCA National Points type stuff. And so that's kind of where we hit it off.
Now, you've been with Ken now how long?
I've been racing for Ken 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah, this is the end of the 5th year right here.
What's it like driving for Ken?
It's
got to be the best.
It's the best. Yeah, I feel super fortunate. You get to meet all kinds of cool people in this sport, and I can't think of anybody better at the moment to drive for than Ken. He's super competitive, super analytical, but he's also very realistic. Okay. And I think that's a really cool combination. Yeah,
Ken is probably the only. He's probably the only team that sends us on the dot monthly updates on how you're doing, how the team's doing.
Yeah.
What's coming next. The communication's outstanding.
Yeah.
Ken. he's a good communicator.
He is. It's the same way racing for him. You know, I mean, he wants to have a plan. He wants everybody to be on the same page, and I think that's why we've been able to perform the way we have. You know, we don't have the biggest team by any means, or the best funded, but I think we have a good leader and a good communicator in Ken, and then that kind of starts the whole thing headed in the right direction. You know, and we kind of focus our team around attitude a little bit. You know, kind of making sure we've got people that have good attitudes, because you know, you're going to have your bad days, and you're going to have, you know, tough travel days and all these things. And it seems like when you've got good attitudes around you, it keeps everybody moving good.
So what was the highlight, kind of fast forward now 5 years? I know you've got a family now.
Yep.
How has that changed it? Has that made it easier or more difficult? Or has it made you appreciate things a little differently?
For sure, appreciate things differently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's complicated. There's no question. You know, you add another human into the mix and more logistics. And now we've got a little merch trailer we tow around. We got an RV that we go around in. So it's more pieces of the puzzle. But you know, it's definitely one of those things you would never trade.
I know.
I mean, you know, you got kids. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
you're living the best days of your life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Ronnie, whenever I was working for him, and my wife and I were already married back then, and he kept teasing me. He was like, you got to watch it. Those kids will slow you down 2/10 apiece. And
I'm pretty sure it didn't. I think it found you 2/10.
Yeah. So for the longest time, he had me worried. I was like, man, I better not have these kids if I want to go fast. But really, you know, my wife and I, we ended up, you know, in a situation where we thought we could do it. And really, I think if anything, it lit a fire under me. You know what I mean? Like now you're racing for a living, so you better go fast.
How many quick times did you end up with this year? It seemed like you were quick time every.
Ken actually, you know, back to the analytical, he actually had us the paper last night. We had a dinner, and it was like 26 fast times or something like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It was,
seriously?
It was pretty cool.
Out of how many races?
The full season, I think we did 101 races.
So over 20% of your races, you're a quick time?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
And I don't know if that was
What's
like
the secret?
Well,
BILSTEIN shocks.
BILSTEIN shocks is a huge part of it. There's no question. I think just like my whole career, I didn't really grow up qualifying, and so when I first started doing it, like out there, it was like pill draw stuff. You know, where I grew up, or passing points. So I wasn't really comfortable with the qualifying for a while. But then I got into the areas where qualifying was like the thing, and you're like, I've got to figure this out because it seems to be such a critical part.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just put a lot of emphasis on it, a lot of thought to like any part of that car that I could possibly think of that would make a difference
in qualifying.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes maybe I pay for it in the races a little bit, but it shows in our qualifying. So we're working on balancing that out.
So how far are we from having qualifying dampers? Do you think we're ever going to get there? Or do you feel like maybe a qualifying set or a qualifying shock and spring load combination that you're going to just qualify on and then you take it off after that when it's come race time?
Well, I'd say if you really study it, there's things right now that do excellent when the track has speed, or you know, when the grip is in the track, that helps the car change directions and things like that, that don't necessarily race all that well. And those are the kind of things that I really look at really closely, that people probably don't realize. You know, because there's tons of combinations out there, shock and spring, and they'll do good at some point, almost any of them. But knowing, and sometimes it's not what you would think, you know, the combinations that make speed. So, we found some things here and there that you know, do super well when there's grip and changing directions is the key, but don't necessarily make a balanced car. And so, I think you're already there in that position a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I don't think many teams are probably looking at it enough. You know, you can watch it when you go to a track and you go test. A lot of teams won't unload until the track slows down.
Right.
And it's like how many teams are actually focusing on, like, you know, we need to unload. You need to be the first unloaded, the first on the track, and about the first to load up.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we can't start up front in today's world, I mean, you guys are so aero dependent. I mean, you can't be on the front row. You just don't see it anymore at the level you're racing.
Yeah, right? For sure. It definitely makes it hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the direction that you're gonna see BILSTEIN try to optimize, is trying to figure out, you know, if we have a right front Port Royal or a Bill 2, right front. What do we need to do? We know that's going to be good when a track slows down.
Right.
Right. But what do we need when we're Mach 3? Right. You know, I think it's some low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
We could probably get a little better.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of our particular sport is that, you know, there's not a lot of other scenarios that the racetrack changes, you know, 3 to 5 seconds in a night.
Yeah.
And so the loads, the forces that take place when that thing is 12 seconds versus, you know, 15 seconds is totally different. So you really can fine tune a lot of things there.
Yeah, for sure. What's plans next year? You gonna Lucas Oil again full time?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the plan right now. You know, we're just getting everything in order. We've got a good, I think, jump start on our motor program, and we got another car coming to start the season with. So, yeah, so we're looking forward to the Lucas deal.
Now you guys gonna be teamed up with Vinny Giuliani again with VG?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, we had him on a little bit ago.
Nice.
Spoke highly of it. But all right, last question. What's your daily driver?
So I actually have a 2000 Chevy Silverado. It's the one I got right after I graduated high school.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't ever get rid of it.
Yeah. If it stays running, I'd say probably not.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. What shocks you got on it? That was the last question.
Well, on the daily driver, I honestly don't even know, but my RV does have Bilsteins on it.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
It does.
What kind of RV you got?
It's a Thor. It's like a 33-foot Class A.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I get more compliments on RV motorhome dampers, like at the airport or anywhere I'm at with my shirt, than I ever do on dirt lake model.
Yeah,
I can promise you.
It's pretty amazing. I didn't realize that was such a big deal in that market, but it definitely is. I mean, that's a pretty unique vehicle, and it's pretty cool that we got them on there.
Yeah, awesome. Man, thanks for taking time before the banquet. I know you got to get going, but
yes, sir.
Good luck, man. Really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you guys.